Welcome back to the SpookyWoe channel, geeks. So I want to talk about something that I think a lot of BGSI players have noticed, but I feel like nobody really wants to talk about it. There is so much negativity surrounding this game. Obviously. People are blaming the fall off in players on updates, they're blaming developers or even specific players. Just an insane amount of negativity in general. But after thinking about this for a long time, literally since OG BGS, I've come to a bit of a conclusion. There's a first time for everything, gang. I don't think that the biggest issue with BGSI is the updates or the developers, not by a mile. In fact, especially recently, it's been absolutely amazing. Love it. Love to see it. I think a lot of problems we've been seeing for the past almost year now are coming straight from the community or the player base. And before we begin, I want to make something very clear. I'm not like Mr. Perfect in this or anything like that. As in, I've contributed to these issues as well. We all have. So this isn't me blaming everyone else. I feel like literally everyone has done this at some point before. This is more of a we need to do better as a player base sort of thing. And I'm going to explain the bad things that we're doing as the players and what we can do better moving forward. One of the biggest issues I've noticed in this player base is how quickly we jump onto hate trains. The second an update drops, it only takes one or two people to say something negative about the game and everyone else is saying the same things. Even if the issue is really small or we didn't even notice it before, it becomes this sort of follow the crowd reaction. We start to form opinions based on what other people are saying rather than actually experiencing the update ourselves. And the result is that updates get labeled as bad straight away. And the fact with this game is the good things almost always outweigh the bad things. Prove me wrong. So the takeaway from this is we need to use our own heads. Don't be a broken record and don't linger on things that other people are hating on. Take time to form your own opinion first. We need to think about the parts of an update that we like and dislike. And if we're going to present criticism, we need to do it in a nice way. Another thing we don't really consider is the timing of when we're dropping the criticism. The moment an update drops, you immediately see messages like, this should be better, or they should change this, or why didn't they do this instead of that. You get the idea. And criticism isn't a bad thing, that's not what I'm trying to say. However, the timing matters. The developers spend an entire week working on the update, so when it releases, they're probably not looking for a massive work list of things they need to improve or change. And this is part of the reason why we're doing a spreadsheet so that the developers can see our criticism whenever they want, fully organized. When an update drops, the developers will be taking a break, so they will be wanting praise, not criticism. They'll be wanting to know what they've done well, is what I'm trying to say. Constructive feedback after we've played the update for a while is when it becomes useful. But instantly criticizing an update the moment it comes out, there's literally no point. The message I'm trying to send here is we need to be smart about the timing of our criticism. If we hop in the crowd of 80 million people crying about, oh no, admin abuse this weekend, I'm having withdrawal symptoms. In that scenario, we're not going to be heard. We need to give the developers a break. Something else I've noticed is how rarely the community praises good parts of updates. If an update adds say 10 really cool new features, but one thing isn't perfect, the entire focus ends up being about that one tiny issue. No, the secret pets are too rare, please admin abuse. What I'm trying to say is the negative points completely overshadow everything that was done well, and this just creates the thought of the developers aren't doing good enough, which they literally are. The best thing we can do to improve this is simply don't always be in criticism mode. There is a time and a place to give your criticism. I literally have an entire Discord server for this if you're interested. We do send as much to Nerd as possible. Holy advertising, guys. Pooh. Link in the description, guys. But seriously, we need to make sure we're talking about the good parts of an update. It's going to be really nice for the developers to see that. Another thing that comes up a lot is features that the community collectively don't like. Things like bundles or Robux pets, all that jazz. Now, I understand why some people don't like them, but it's all about perspective. For example, with bundles, the game needs to be sustainable. If the game isn't making money, it can't really update anymore. They're not just adding features like this for the sake of it. They're there for a reason. My main point here is that the developers are not stupid. They've been developing games for literally years. So if they see a feature that's getting hated on and they don't remove it, that is not them being stupid. That's them saying we need this feature in the game for the greater good. And quite honestly, 99% of the features we complain about literally do not affect us. We need to put ourselves in the developers' shoes before we comment. Simple as. Something that gets blamed on the developers a lot is the drop in player count. But everyone ignores how games really work. When a game first releases, it gets a huge spike in attention, but over time that is going to naturally settle down. That doesn't mean a game's dying. BGSI has been around for almost an entire year now, and it still has thousands of players. If you think about it, it's pretty impressive for a simulator game. You don't see it a lot on Roblox, to put it simply. My argument here is that even if the updates were 10 out of 10 every single time, we would likely still be at a similar CCU. The developers didn't just make it drop for a laugh, and especially right now, the CCU is insanely healthy. Again, it's rare to see a simulator stay so popular for so long. One of the biggest things that hurts this community, in my opinion, is the constant drama. Basically arguing with each other literally for the sake of them, or making accusations without properly looking into it, or even just picking sides and turning everything into an argument. It feels like we dislike each other more than we actually enjoy the game. And quite honestly, it amazes me how much drama can be squeezed out of a Roblox simulator game. My point here is I just want to see everyone being friends. Straight up, if you've argued with someone, just apologize to them and make a new friend. There's literally zero shame in it. At the end of the day, this is a game. We play BGSI for fun, for nostalgia, for collecting, for trading, for leaderboard, all sorts of reasons. But when a game is filled with constant negativity or drama, it makes the experience worse for everyone. Even if deep down you enjoyed an update, seeing constant negativity about it can change the way you feel. What I'm trying to say is just enjoy the game. There's so much opportunity for us to just enjoy ourselves. So I don't understand why we're focusing on the negatives all the time. There's so many positives, man. It's such a shame. I do think there's some areas where communication between the developers and the players could definitely improve. But at the same time, why do we expect the developers to explain every single decision they make? If they did that, they literally wouldn't have time to update the game. This is actually part of the reason why I started streaming updates. I want to sort of explain some of the features and decisions behind the updates. No, since me and Nert are besties, I get all the insider information. Thanks to him, I know exactly when to sell my Rumble Studio stocks. Cashed out yesterday, gang. Jars almost half full. Crazy. Crazy. Anyway, the takeaway here is we need to work together instead of expecting the developers to do everything. Since I've been given context myself from the developers, a lot of the hated features are very understandable. Quite honestly, looking back, it doesn't really take a genius to figure that out. Roblox finally rotted our brains. GG, guys. It was gonna happen eventually. The final point I want to make is no game lasts forever. Eventually, BGSI will reach a point where people sort of just move on to the next thing. And when that happens, we won't look back and remember which update had bad features that we didn't like. We're gonna remember the fun we had playing the game, or the friends and the memories we made. So instead of constantly focusing on the negatives, we should spend more time enjoying the game while it's still here. Every game ends eventually. Make sure to keep that in mind. If you want a place where we can talk about updates in a more positive way, I've been building my Discord server for that. Link in the description, guys. And if you want to support the channel, I've opened a channel membership as well. If you're interested, just click the join button. There's cheap and expensive options. You get a lot of perks and it supports me a lot. But to end things off, I really hope that this video makes us as the players more positive to the developers and to each other, because we have built some amazing things around this game, and it would be a shame if the things I explained earlier ended up ruining all of that. Shield the Discord server twice in this video, by the way. Absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked.
Hi, Nert. I really want an admin abuse, secret pets, and items to add to my collection, because I am a very wealthy man, but I could always be wealthier. So please, 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 give me free secrets. It's all I wish. Thank you.